Well, hey, friends, welcome back to another week here on the podcast. Can you believe that we are almost halfway through December and almost to the end of 2024? I can't believe it. And I want to talk to you today about designing your December, designing this month, finishing out this month, not in a state of overwhelm, but with intentional joy, really bringing together that success and fulfillment for you. So I was going to record this last week. I had, you guys, if my voice sounds a little funny, I am coming off of the both ears, double ear infection. And so I have I couldn't even hear myself until the last few days. It finally felt so much better. And I tried to record and it just it wasn't working at all. So I am so glad that I finally feel better. And because I've not missed, I do this every week. I drop an episode on the Kristi Jones show every single week. And it's really important for me, rain or shine, um, ear infection, no voice, figure out a way to make this happen. And I've always been able to find a way to make that happen. Even on times it's like, I don't know how I'm going to get this done this week, but it's just really important to me to stay consistent and show up and bring you things I know are really going to make an impact on your life, make an impact on your day. And this message specifically is going to make an impact for you this month. So let's get into it. Again, just my voice sounds a little different. I don't even really know what I sound like. So until I hear this recording. So we're just going to roll with it as is. So I'm going to talk to you about designing your December. And I know we're like halfway through the month, but it's always each year. It's really important to me as we come into the holiday time to really, to my clients, my community, to remind them that we don't have to go through this time of year feeling worn out and exhausted and depleted. And we need to be feeling the exact opposite of those things. And we want to feel joyful. We want to feel excited. It's this just magical time of year. And I want to talk about how you can, like, if that's not where you're at right now, some things you can do to get back on track with that. So you can close out the year also with intention. So you start the new year like with some clarity and with knowing, visualizing what you want, the year that you want to create. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So does December have you feeling stressed out, just kind of stretched thin? Do you feel worn out? Is it time for you to reimagine the holidays for yourself, to reimagine and close out this year with intention? My goal is so you can go through closing out this year with a sense of joy, a sense of fulfillment. And so in this episode, I'm going to talk about how we're going to ditch perfectionism because that shows up big time at the end of the year in the time of the holidays. We're going to talk about how you can set some clear intentions so you can visualize the holiday season that you want to have this month and really have the December that you desire. So I think it's important that I share with you, the importance of staying focused, staying grounded, and staying connected so you feel calm and not frazzled. And this is like an experience every year for you to make it uniquely yours. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, you're going to come out on the other end of this short episode and you're going to feel more relaxed, or you're at least going to know what you can do to get to that sense of calm and peace so that you are having the holiday season that you really want to have. So I've got three key talking points that I want to kind of dial in with you today. First, I want to jump into ditching perfectionism, and how you can reimagine your December. I think this shows up big time at this time of year because people envision like the perfect holiday and the perfect Christmas or the perfect New Year's Eve, the perfect New Year's Day. I mean, we get so tied into what is perfection at this time of year. And let's face it, like every year looks different. Your life is in a different place every year. So I'm sure you can look back on your life and remember like holiday times, holiday seasons, New Year's that just you had just you had a lot of stuff going on. And then you were like, I just can't like there's some big changes going on in my life and it's really hard for me to feel joyful or it's really hard for me to feel like in the holiday mode all the time. And so I want to address that a little bit because we all get hung up on this, like it again has to be perfect in the holidays, and it doesn't. Like I said, every year is going to look a little bit different. And when we strive for perfection, that's what often leads to your feelings of overwhelm, your lead that lead to that feeling of stress. It's striving for perfection during the holidays. So first acknowledge that perfectionism doesn't exist. Like if you are chasing the holiday perfectionism, you are going to be running a very long race. And it just doesn't exist. And when I see them in that mode and they're just like trying to create everything perfectly and hit all the events, do all the things, everybody dressed a certain way, it's too much. It's like way too much. So it's like it's a good time to ask yourself, why am I chasing that image of perfectionism? And to evaluate yourself on that. Like, why is it important for me to have to like this perceived thing that I have in my mind of the perfection December? Why am I so hung up on that? And how can I loosen the grip on that and let go of my connection to perfectionism? I think when we try to do it all, we wear ourselves out. And if you are, working, then you have all the other personal responsibilities that come into the holiday season. If you're a parent, you've got all kinds of things that come onto your calendar, things that you want to do with your kids, and you're just like throwing balls up in the air and you're just really not sure which ones you're going to catch. I remember that feeling very much. And my advice is to one, that's when you have to let go of the perfectionism. Let go of whatever you're attaching to as the ultimate outcome for the holidays. And instead, I would ask you to ask yourself, what does like your personal ideal December look like? What does it feel like? Oftentimes people are chasing what they've been sold to believe they should be doing, how they should be spending their days in the month of December. And you need to make sure that you're doing things that really align with you and align with what you want your holiday season to look like. Instead of trying to either people please too much, that can really show up in the holiday season, and also striving for that perfectionism, which again, it doesn't exist. So you're going to wear yourself plumb out if you are chasing after that every holiday season. So just sit down and set your intentions. So that's my second point, is to set your intentions for the month of December. Set your intentions as we go to the end of the month and into the first of the next month. Go ahead and look forward into the first of the new year and define for you what your desired feelings are. What are your desired experiences for this holiday season and forward into January? That's really helpful if you can sit down and ask yourself that question and then start to get clear. The power of setting clear intentions at any time on anything, but I'm specifically talking about this little window of time we're in right now with the holidays. The more clear intentions that you can set, that is going to significantly shape your experience that you have this month. So it's so important that you make the time to get clear on what is my intentions for this month. How do I want to close out this end of this year? And personally, professionally, you can take this as broad as you want. But, a lot of times I find that people just start feeling like so heavy and overwhelmed, and then it just becomes a bunch of have-tos, and that's not what this time of year is supposed to feel like or be about. So to reclaim your joy, to step back into that, you got to simplify some things. You got to quit chasing the perfection. You've got to quit um, looking at others to define what is important to you in your holiday time of year. You need to determine that because if you can determine that for yourself and you get clear in setting your intentions for December, for the first of next month, if you can get clear on that, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to it's going to align more with you. You don't feel like you're chasing someone else's shoulds, woulds, all the things that you're supposed to be doing. And I know a lot of us have so many things. We're like, Kristi, but I want to do it all. I have all these things goals that I still need to do professionally at my job and things that I want to experience with my family and events we want to go to and parties we want to go to and we want to go see Christmas lights and we want to go do this and we want to go to, but realize there's times when if you're going to spread yourself that thin and if you're bringing in your whole family into that if it can cause everyone just to feel more stress. So make sure that everyone's like in agreement with this is what feels right for us this year on what we're going to do for this holiday season. Because when we're pushing and shoving and trying to get everybody to do it the way we want to do it, maybe, in your house or it's too stressful. It's really too stressful. And you have to remember, like in the parenting realm, like kids, everyone's changing. Everyone's, they get older, things change, interests change, the way that you go about things might change. It's okay to weave in some new traditions or try, spend the last week of the month in a different way than you have the previous 10 years. Everything is on the table for you to reevaluate to make sure that it aligns with where you're at right now in your life and it aligns with your values. So it's really important that you set some intentions. So I would really encourage you to take 10 or 15 minutes and we're halfway through the month and we've got some beautiful weeks still ahead of us in December. We've got all kinds of hopes and dreams that we're looking forward into next year. But start setting your intentions now. Take 10 or 15 minutes and write down what do you want to experience this month? What's important to you? How do you want this month to feel? And when you do that, I hope you feel a sense of like personal, almost like personal responsibility and empowerment that you're getting to choose. A lot of times we feel that I feel this way because everybody's tugging at me or everybody's wanting this from me or I feel overwhelmed and we want to push the only way I know how to say it is we want to push the blame on other people or circumstances on why I feel overwhelmed. And I'm here to tell you that you feel overwhelmed because you're choosing to feel overwhelmed. I know that might sting a little bit, and it's like, well, I'm not choosing that. They're making me feel that way. No, I would like to encourage you to look at this a different way, and nobody can make you feel any certain way. All right. You decide that, whether it's someone's words, their actions, their subtle actions, whatever it might be, like you get to perceive that. You get to decide how that how you're going to receive that, how that's going to make you feel. So if you want to give up your power, your personal power, like your own responsibility and want to feel like everyone's making you feel overwhelmed, like you're giving that ability to other people, other situations. Like why would you do that? Don't do that. Like that's not helping yourself. So take accountability. So if you are feeling overwhelmed right now, take accountability for that. Just say, yeah, I'm putting so much on my shoulders. I'm taking all this on when I don't need to. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're choosing to feel overwhelmed. There are other ways to feel. Our thoughts. So I talk about this all the time, especially with my coaching clients. So there's circumstances, and then our thoughts about the circumstances are what determine our feelings. So our thoughts and our feelings are so directly connected. And the great news is, and so the feeling being overwhelmed, okay, that would be the feeling I'm talking about. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, then take a step back and analyze your thoughts. What are your thoughts that you're having? We need to change those up. We need to change up the thoughts because how we what we and we get to choose our thoughts. Like we have so many thoughts in a day, right? I mean, thousands, 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 thousands of thoughts a day. And thoughts come and go, but I'm talking about the thoughts that like you're kind of latching onto. You know what I'm talking about. You've got thoughts that just kind of come in and out, and then you have thoughts that like linger and you kind of like clamp onto those and like put them under your arm and you're taking that one with you all day long. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a thought that you come back to often. Those are the ones I'm talking about. You need to change those out. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to take accountability for feeling overwhelmed and quit blaming other people or circumstances for making you feel overwhelmed because the great news is you can change your thoughts, you can change your situation, and then you can step out of that feeling. So, setting your intentions for the rest of this month, defining what is your desired feeling for the holiday season. What is your desired experiences for the rest of this year? And go ahead and bleed this on over into January, okay? This is an excellent time to do that. Third thing I want to remind you and really offer you today is to stay grounded in this season and focus on what really matters most. Again, we get pulled in so many different directions, and it's really important to stay present. The present moment, like the present moment, like right now. We have to find a way to we abide in the present moment. We can visit the past moment at times, but we need to get back into the present. And we need to look forward, right? And set our intentions and do the visualizations and do the planning and do the work today in the present moment that's going to build the life that we desire down the road, okay? But we still come back to present moment. It's what can I do now? So when we stay grounded in what is now and focused on really what matters most right now, it's really so much easier for us to stay energized and more balanced during the really hectic holiday season. So monitor your thoughts that are going on in your head right now. If you're having thoughts of like just feeling dread, negativity, I have so much to do, I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. I'm going to go back to way back into my past when I remember the holidays. I'm like, I don't have any money. I want to buy, a gift for my son. I'm trying to just pay the bills. I don't know where that's going to come from yet. There's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. And so we need to always remember what is the holiday season really about for you? For me, it's about the birth of Jesus. It is about, all of the beautiful things that God has gifted us and to celebrate that in this month. But it's also the fun of, Santa Claus and the presents and giving and doing for others. And so it holds it's like a really big umbrella for a lot of us, right? And it means, and again, everyone experiences this holiday season in a different way, and that's beautiful. That's the beautiful thing. That is the beautiful thing. So I just want to make sure that with the last couple weeks of this month, and as we roll into next year, that you're staying grounded. You're focusing on what matters most to you. You're not getting caught up in dread or negativity and focusing on what I can't do or what I can't afford or what's a problem that's going on maybe in your personal life right now that's just wearing you smack out. Instead, I would encourage you to replace that with thoughts of gratitude. Focus on what you do have. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you have that brings you joy. Don't focus on the things that bring you so much dread and sadness or irritation. Where we focus, that's where our energy goes. So if you really want to have some calmness and groundedness for yourself in this holiday season, focus on what's right. Don't focus on what's wrong. Stay grounded. Focus on what matters most. My last thing I want to say is, and I like to bring this up just because not everyone, every holiday season is in a great place. Like sometimes we have things that happen right before the holidays, or it's been a hard year. Maybe this hasn't been the best year of your life thus far. You're like, Kristi, I've had some really crappy things happen this year. Maybe you've lost a loved one. I remember when I lost my dad and we lost him in October. And that first, well, for several holidays after, it just felt so weird. But especially that first holiday, it was almost like it was joy and appreciation for what we had, but yet so much grief and loss at the same time. It was really confusing um, to move through that holiday season. So if that's you, you find yourself like you're grieving something that you've lost, a job, a relationship, someone's passed away. If that's something that you're working through right now, I want you to know that it's okay, and there's no expectation of what you need to be, of what your holiday needs to be like. It can be whatever you need it to be, whatever you desire it to be, however you want that to feel. And it's just, life just has ebbs and flows. And there are some times you look back and you go, man, that was such a hard year. I was just not really looking forward to all the things that, the social events I needed to go to in December. And because I was grieving that divorce, or, I was grieving, I was unemployed at that time and I was trying to get back on my feet. I just want to normalize that, like, those things happen in life. And if you need to, like, not push yourself to be at X amount of social events and go to things and try to, like, hit some, I don't know, some level that you're trying to do and show up as when you're not genuinely feeling that way, that's okay. This might be a year that you need to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that you love and that love you back. Make sure that you're putting yourself in a really nurturing environment if you're working through some things. If you know it's going to be really hard to be in a certain environment because you just went through that divorce, maybe this year you don't do that. Instead, maybe you just get together with one or two of your friends that really you have that connection with, and you don't have to, like, turn it on. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a year for that. So I just want to normalize that, like, every year that comes around, not everybody is feeling this like immense excitement for the holidays and just like this joy and I'm not just talking about the normal overwhelm and stressed out. I mean, that's what I was addressing for above, like before I got to this, because a lot of people that there's really not much to worry about. We're putting that sense of overwhelm and high level of expectation on ourselves. But I'm talking about when, like, you're really going through the thick of it on something. So that's life. And you will get through this holiday season. And I know that if you look hard enough, that you will find what you want to find to close out this year. You will find the joy. You will find the hope. You have to look. You have to seek it out. You have to open your eyes wide open because it's there for you. So what we focus on is what we get. So remember that. If this is a year that you need a little, TLC, give yourself more self-care. Do something that's very nurturing for yourself. If you're grieving a big loss, do the things that you need to do to work through that. This isn't a performance. This isn't, like I said, a show of who can be perfect. This is life, and we're humans, and we all have different things that go on throughout the year. So I encourage you to give yourself some grace if you're in a hard spot right now, and know there's so much hope. There's so much good waiting for you. I know it's hard when we're in the thick of it and we're grieving. It's hard to connect to that. You're like, I'm not seeing evidence of that on in my life, but you have to just keep believing it. You have to keep believing it. You have to have faith. Faith and fear I've talked about, like they both take energy. They take the same amount of energy. Choose faith over fear. Fear is such a low vibe, negative. It's just we find more things to be fearful of when we sit in that space. So I hope this has really kind of maybe brought front and center some things for you to think about as you finish out December, as we go into Christmas. I love Christmas. I love it, but I don't overcomplicate it either. I decide ahead of time what what my schedule is going to look like. How busy do I want to be? I like to really enjoy and have a lot of open time to fill in the, last minute, let's go look at Christmas lights, or get together, go to dinner with friends that maybe you haven't seen in a while. So I like to have that flexibility in there so I can make sure that I'm doing the things in the holidays, spending it with my family, doing the things that really mean so much to me and give me joy and allow me to help and serve others. Okay, my friend, well, buckle up because we are going through December at lightning speed, and I really want you to design your December and step out of overwhelm and go into intentional joy and create the rest of this year to be exactly what you want. All right, until next time, have a fabulous week, and I will see you next week right here, same time, same place on the podcast.